When you are in the frequency of you really are not gripping, you really are not controlling, you are literally so full in the embodiment of your excitement about life, in your creativity, in your expression. When you're in that energetic embodiment, you literally will forget about the thing that you said that you want, and then all of a sudden it will come into your field. That is how it works. We're back, baby, with a brand new season of the It's Fucking Spiritual podcast. Join us each week as we have unfiltered conversations about how to transform your life. Our mission is to usher in a new era of spirituality where you don't have to be all love and light to live a life of alignment. Here, we honor all of it, the profound and the profane, the magic and the messy, and all things that make you human. So let's discuss the truth behind transformation and be unapologetic in our evolution. From manifestation to money, embodiment to energy, and all taboo topics, nothing is going to be off limits. Are you ready to live a life that feels just as good as it looks? Let's get fucking spiritual. Hey, what's up, my loves? Welcome back to another episode of the It's Fucking Spiritual podcast, another solo episode. It's going to be a short and sweet one today, and it's something that I thought would be helpful for you to see where you're at on the journey to manifesting what you desire in your life. And so today, I wanted to cover the 3 signs that your manifestation is orbiting you. So, how do you know if your manifestation is close? And sometimes it can feel really challenging and kind of disheartening, like when you're calling something in or you want something so much and you're like, is this ever actually going to happen for me? And so here are a couple of signs that I thought would be helpful for you to see, is your manifestation actually close? And if it's feeling like it's far away, what can you do to actually shift your frequency, shift your embodiment in order to make it closer and actually call it in and have it in your reality? So, number 1, I have my trusty notes here. Number 1, you start seeing what you desire everywhere. So it's coming in the form of people around you have this thing that you want. That's a really big one. And I know that a lot of times it can be easy to fall into like, well, they have it and I don't, right? Perfect example is I have so many friends that are currently getting engaged or currently having babies, specifically getting engaged though. And this is something that I'm actually not personally calling in like right now in this season in my life, but it is something that I desire. And I have a girlfriend who is really calling this in, and she's been in her relationship for quite a while and she really, really wants to be engaged. And we had this conversation the other day where everyone around us is like engagement, 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 marriage, wedding, da 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 da, like all around us every weekend, all the time, right? And it was so beautiful watching her shift from, oh my God, another one and not me yet, right? Into, wait, this is orbiting me so strongly that I know that this is coming in my reality as well. And shifting into that frequency is so powerful and so magnetic because it comes from an energy of not grasping, which we're going to get to in another one of the signs. But shifting into the space of gratitude for other people when they have the thing that you want. And the more and more you see it in your reality, the more and more it's actually orbiting you. Another great example is 6 years ago, I tell the story of how I flew across the country to go to a women's entrepreneur event. I was not an entrepreneur at the time. I had to really like put my back against a wall, invest in something that I didn't have money in, like take the leap, do the thing. And it was so freaking scary. And then all of a sudden I learned about online business because I had said, I really want to make money from an online business. And then sure enough, all these women started orbiting me that made money online. And all these women started making 10K months online and 20K months online. And I could have been like, what the heck? Like, how is this happening for them and not me? But instead, realizing that, oh, this is inevitable for me because I'm around so many people that have created this for themselves. And sure enough, here I am many years later, having created the very thing that I wanted. So your first sign is that it is orbiting you in many ways. You're seeing it everywhere. You're seeing it come through people that are around you in your circle. You're seeing it come through maybe in people that you follow online, or if it's something material that you desire, you're seeing that in your reality. It's an energy that is orbiting you, and you're starting to see it more and more. That is definitely a sign. The second sign that your manifestation is orbiting you is that everything that is not aligned with the frequency of your manifestation is falling away. Now, this feels really tricky because a lot of times we are when our life is creating space, I should say, when our life is creating space for the manifestations to come in, it feels like everything's falling apart. It's like, what the fuck? I feel like my life is blowing up and I'm actually getting farther away from my manifestation, from the thing that I actually want. It feels like I'm going 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So this can be really tricky. And at this point, it's incredibly important that you flex your faith muscle. So it's really important to know that things are going to fall apart that aren't in alignment with the new timeline and the new future that it is that you actually want. So if you are in the midst of the breakdown right now, I feel for you. I feel for you so hard. And know that this is actually preparing you and clearing your path and clearing your energy for something greater. Perfect example is, let's go back to the engagement example. um, Going through a breakup, right? When you really want to find that person. Well, the person that you were with, if they weren't your person, the universe had to clear them out. So it feels like you're going through a breakup and that you're actually getting farther away, when in reality, the person that you're supposed to be with is actually orbiting you and getting closer and closer to you, but you can't see it yet. And it's going to require your faith. It's going to require your trust and your surrender and letting go in this moment, so that you can actually clear out what you need to, and you're not gripping and you're not holding on. So things can definitely feel like they're falling apart, especially if it has to do with what it is that you're manifesting. Briefly interrupting this episode for a very special announcement. If you are someone that has been loving this podcast, that you love this work, you really are ready to deepen in your own feminine embodiment journey, you are ready to expand your capacity to receive abundance and what you desire in your life, and you want to do it all in sisterhood, and you want to travel out of the country. Drum roll, please. I invite you to join us in Costa Rica in May of 2025. We have officially opened the doors for our Costa Rican Expanded Woman Retreat, where we are going to spend 5 days and 5 nights together in the jungle of Costa Rica and just go really deep together in sisterhood. So if you have desired to attend one of the It's Fucking Spiritual retreats and you want to join us in Costa Rica, it is going to be such an incredible time. There's going to be organic food. There's going to be deep workshops and so much bonding and sisterhood and beach bonfires and excursions and all of the things. And honestly, you guys, every single time that I have taken the leap and gone to something in person, my first ever retreat as an attendee was in Costa Rica. And that is where this podcast idea was actually born. And so every single time that I have chosen to take the leap and I've gone somewhere in person alone and nervous and ready for my expansion, there is so much transformation on the other side. It is honestly how I have built my life, has been from taking multiple days to go really deep, to receive reflections in sisterhood, and to really claim what I want out of life. And I invite you to do that with us if it's something that's calling you. This is by application only. So definitely go and fill out the application in the show notes. There's going to be so much information about the retreat, the dates, pricing, all of that in that application, and go and take a look. And if it's calling you, definitely apply. Even if you're on the fence, definitely apply, and we will review your application. And if you have any questions, you can email us at support@rachelgibler.com. And we hope that we will get the chance to meet you in Costa Rica in May. And that brings me to sign number 3. This is how you know that your manifestation is incredibly close and that it's coming in soon. It's that you have fully surrendered and let go of the timeline of when this will happen, and you're just in the joy and the excitement of life. This seems really counterintuitive, okay? Because if somebody would have told me this and I was in the middle, I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean that I have to let it go? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, Rachel, I don't want to surrender because this is very important to me. But the thing is, the more that you grip, the more that you're desperate, the more that you have to have the thing, then that thing isn't actually attracted to you because you're coming from an energy of desperation. You're not coming from an energy of being in the embodiment of being worthy of having that thing. So let's go back to the engagement example again, okay? This one's really alive clearly right now in this moment. If you were like, "Oh my God, but I like really want it, but I really want to be with you, but I really want to be engaged, but and you were like nagging that person, like, is that attractive? Is that hot? Is that magnetic? No, right? That's not magnetic because you're not in an energy of like, I know this is going to happen for me. And I trust that this is going to happen for me. And this is exactly what I want. And this is my desire. And this is what I'm creating. This is what I'm holding in my vision for myself. And I know that it's on its way. So I don't need to grip. I don't need to force. I don't need to control. And that is so much harder in practice than it is in theory to me sit here and saying that to you right now. So just know, I know it can feel really hard in practice when it's something that you deeply desire and want. And it is a practice of handing it over. It is a practice of surrendering. It is a practice of letting it go over and over and over and over again. And when you are in the frequency of you really are not gripping, you really are not controlling, you are literally so full in the embodiment of your excitement about life, in your creativity, in your expression. When you're in that energetic embodiment, you literally will forget about the thing that you said that you want, and then all of a sudden it will come into your field. That is how it works. So the more that you're gripping and forcing and controlling, the more that you're keeping it at arm's distance, you're pushing it away energetically. But the more that you open to your receptivity, you open to surrender, to trust that everything that you want is on its way to you. Every single thing that is meant for you is coming, right? That is the energy of the frequency of the manifestation that you want. That is the energy of actually receiving it and allowing yourself to call it in. So, what do you do if you're feeling like you're pushing it away? You do exactly basically what I just said, which is you have to practice feeling the emotion of not having it, feeling the desire to have it, feeling the longing of having it, feeling the frustration or the anger. You got to feel those feelings that are in the way of you having the thing. And then you have to practice literally letting it go. How do you practice letting something go? You practice being in the present moment in your body. That's it. You practice feeling the sensations in your body. You practice doing somatic work, which I've talked on many episodes about this. I actually have a program called Expand. It's 8 modules, and it is in the show notes. We have a course-only edition if you want the self-paced course that will teach you literally how to get out of your head into your body. Quick plug. And teach you how to actually trust and surrender and let go. But if you have any feelings around your manifestation not being here yet, say, for example, my friend who had a lot of feelings around not being engaged when everybody else was getting engaged, she has to have those feelings. So you don't negate them, you don't push them away, you don't spiritually bypass them, you don't ignore them and like act like they're not there. Instead, feel those feelings. Fucking rage, fucking be angry, fucking let yourself be jealous for a minute, right? And like, oh, what the fuck, right? Like you let your inner child have the moment. And then bring in loving compassion for yourself. Bring in loving compassion because you have a desire for that very thing. And then shift into the frequency of, I trust that this is on its way to me because it's orbiting me. I trust the unfolding of my life right now in this moment, even when everything feels like it's breaking down, because I know it's bringing me to something greater. I get to trust in the excitement of my life in this moment. What would it look like if I actually lived big here and now without this thing? So ask yourself that question and then start taking action on the answer that you receive. Now, as you do this over and over for all of the things that you desire and that you want, because again, you do have to take action in order for your manifestation to come through, but that's not really what this episode is about. It's just the three signs that they're close. But um, come back into surrender, come back into trust, feel the feelings that haven't been felt, and just come back over and over and over again to the truth that you are on the right path. Everything that is meant for you will not pass you. We are not on our own 3D human timeline. We are on the timeline of the divine. And the things that you say that you want, you have to be prepared to receive them. Thank God, the stuff that I'm receiving now, thank God I didn't receive it 3 years ago when I originally wrote it down. Some stuff comes in instantly when we're ready for it, and some stuff takes time. There's some things that I'm calling in that I'm still haven't been ready for, but I've been energetically preparing over and over and over again. And fuck, sometimes it's hard to be patient. But we have to come back to the energy of trust and devotion to what we're creating and surrendering that it's all happening perfectly on the perfect timeline. And the last thing I'll leave you with is if it feels hard to believe that in this moment, that everything is happening perfectly because maybe your life is in the middle of blowing up, or maybe you lost somebody that is close to you, or maybe it feels challenging like it's happening for everybody else and not you, and you have feelings about it. If it's really hard to surrender to the knowing that everything is working out exactly as it's supposed to, what's the alternative? If you get to choose your belief system and the way that you operate in your life is based on that belief system, right? So the way that you're going to show up is going to be because of your beliefs and because of your frame and because of how your perspective is when you're viewing the world. What's the alternative? Everything isn't working out for you and it's just going to fucking suck and it's never going to happen. Well, then it's really never going to happen. So I used to be somebody that would often reject the idea that everything was working out perfectly because I wanted it to happen now because my ego was very impatient. And life gets a lot sweeter when you actually let yourself feel the embodiment of the truth that it actually is all divine and perfect. And I don't know about you, but that feels like a way simpler, easier, just better way to live. So I hope this episode gave you some aha moments, and run your desires and your manifestations through the three signs that I gave you and see how close you are and see what it is that you need to shift. Do you need more trust? Do you need more surrender? Do you need to feel the feelings that are in the way that you haven't felt? What is it that you need? And then give that a little bit more to yourself. So with that, thank you for tuning in today. Please comment below something that that was a takeaway for you, or comment below what you're manifesting and what you're calling in. Put that out into the world. You can comment on YouTube if this is where you're watching it, or on Spotify below, or share it with a friend that needs this reminder and needs a sign. So with that, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to the It's Fucking Spiritual podcast. I am so glad that you're here. And if this episode resonated with you, I invite you to share this with a friend that you feel needs to hear it. And if you are really feeling the love and support for this show, this podcast thrives off of your listens and your reviews. So I would love if you could leave us an honest review. We would love to hear your feedback, your thoughts, your questions, and it helps us get this podcast in the hands of more people and would mean so much to me to receive your support. So thank you.